Hello everyone, KJ4YZI HamRadioConcepts, an update on the satellite tracker and what I have here. So first off, this Sony tripod here that I decided to use is just really sturdy. I mean, it's better than the one that's holding the camera recording this video. And the cool thing about it is, I think, in 2019, every tripod in the world does this, but it's new to me. I can crank up the little tracker, right? So my thing can be up top here, and this is nowhere even opened at the bottom all the way. It's very, very sturdy, okay? So what we'll do is we'll just focus on this for now, what I'm doing. So I have, okay, first this is called, what you see here holding the servo here is called C-channel. Now C-channel is like, universal, it's like aluminum channeling that you can do a lot of connecting with servos and stuff like that, mounting hardware, mounting options. You can see it's got like screw holes to mount it all different ways. And that's why I ordered the hardware kit, because I wanted, the screws that I have here and stuff like that. It comes with all different kinds of Allen screws and the Allen wrench to do that. So I have first, the way this is mounted to my tripod here, and I'm going to zoom in on this. If you can see this, I took out the post that would hold the camera, and I put in like a 1/4-20 bolt with a lock washer, and a nylon nut. And the reason I did that was because, number one, this is not coming off of here, this C-channel, but check this out. If I wanted to take off the whole top of this, I can do it like that. Here's the whole top piece of this. Okay, and give you an idea. You see I have the bolt here. Let me zoom in, there you go. And I have the nut in the top there, okay, right there. And I have that, so I can quickly take this off and put it back on if I wanted to transport it, okay? So I have it mounted like that. It is not going anywhere. Trust me, it is not going anywhere. This thing is going to snap before that C-channel comes off. So in the C-channel, I have the azimuth servo here that's mounted with the screws. Give you an idea here. Okay, screw, 4 screws. I have it mounted to a point where I can get to the nut there, but it's mounted in the C-channel. Now, on top of the azimuth servo here with the gear, what I have is how I mounted the tilt system to this. Now, the original creator, Elwood, had a tube that came up off of this with a clamp, and then the tilt system was way up top. I chose I didn't want to do that for 2 reasons. One, I didn't want to spend the extra money, and 2, I don't think this is going to be a problem, okay? If I zoom in on how I mounted this right here, you can see I have on the tilt system here, there was a plate that was installed. It's got the screws on it, okay? And that had 4 holes, and magically those 4 holes bolted up or matched up with the 4 holes on top of the gear for the azimuth. So I basically just ran the screws through there. I did use spacers, and I had to use spacers because when this goes straight up, all the way up, without the spacers, the servo would hit that gear. Now I hope I could turn the servo by hand like that. We're going to find out if I broke it. But you can see that would pretty much be straight up and down right there, right? But if the antenna, the antenna is going to be mounted where I would hold it in my hand, is going to be mounted right here. So the original creator had like the Yagi split. This was like the driven element, then the reflector would be down this way, and the director would be up this way. I'm going to mount it with where the handle, where I would hold that antenna, right here. So there's nothing coming off the back side of it, okay? And that shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to have a little standoff here. Shouldn't be a problem, even if the thing is turning around almost all the way. We're going to find out if that's going to be a problem or not. I don't think so. If it is, I'll make a standoff off this tilt system to keep this thing, to where it won't hit anything. So this is the tilt here, and then the azimuth is here, okay? So that's how that's going to work. Now, what I'm going to do with this C-channel right here, I think the original creator had this is the servo controller, and I soldered the pins here. This is 16 channel. I can run 16 servos off of this. I just chose to solder the first header pins here so I can connect azimuth and elevation, and the pins over here, which are going to be for the connection to the the Arduino, and then on this side, there's going to be pins that are soldered over here for going to the position or the 9 degree of freedom sensor, okay? What I'm going to do with this, instead of just attaching this to here like this, okay, I got this project box from Amazon. Now this is just a cheap $5 project box, a little bigger, but you can't really, when you measure it online, then you get it, whatever. So what's going to happen is I'm going to mount this under here. I'm going to have to pull these wires out that I routed, and I'm going to mount this under here like this, or possibly on the side like this, or something. And this is going to house not only this, okay, but also the connections from this board here to the 9 degree of freedom sensor. And this way it's protected, not that I'm leaving it outside or anything. But also, I just wanted it where I'm not going to see a lot of wires. Just trying to make it different instead of copying this guy's creation, right? So the degree of freedom sensor is going to be mounted somewhere up here on the antenna. That'll tell it, when is level, like this, and up, down, left, right, and whatever. The wire is going to come down with a little micro loom, and I'm going to probably go down, down here, and it's going to go to this box too. Everything's going to be housed in this box. Now, again, if I wanted to take this head off without having to transport this whole thing like this, I could pop the head off, but there's going to be some sort of connection or breakaway to this box. So I chose this right here, and we're going to see how this works. What this is, if I can open this, another Amazon special, right? Okay, here's an idea I have. The creator used serial connection from here to the box on the tripod to run power up to the servos. The power and everything is going to be in the project box, which is going to look like this. This is about the size that I could use, and this is going to be mounted on the tripod. I'm probably going to put a couple holes for like a hose clamp or something like that, and that's going to mount to one of the legs down here, okay? From this box where all the electronics are, it's going to come out and go into interconnect with this. And the way I'm going to try to, that was loud. The way I'm going to try to do that is with these right here. These are Ethernet connectors with the Phoenix connector on the back. And even, this was like $6. It comes with a little tiny screwdriver and everything. I have 2 of them. So I figured if I cut out and mount one of those in this box, right, where there's an Ethernet in the box, like this, right, this way. And the wires for the connectivity between the Arduino and this will happen over an Ethernet cord. And then for the power to the servos, I'm going to use this wire that I made up here with a power pole on it. Now the power pole is also going to be on here on this box. So essentially what the idea is, if that's mounted like this or it's mounted underneath or whatever, I will be able to plug in my power, in there. I'll be able to plug in an Ethernet, and then if I wanted to disassemble the whole thing, I could just pull those 2 out. That's what's going to happen. The power poles here is going to be for the 6-volt power, which could be up to 1 amp or 2, controlling these servos. Instead of using a serial port or a very thin serial cable, I'm going to separate the power for the power poles, and I'm going to have just an Ethernet on, going through between this head unit and the main box. Now I figured that'd be a little bit different, be original, and that way it'll keep it to where I could break this thing apart and put it in a trunk or take it with me or whatever. That's what's happening there. And again, we got to see how, if I look at this, depending on where this is going to be facing north or whatever, the antenna should come down like this, and I don't really ever see myself all the time being pointed straight up. A lot of times it's going to be tracking the satellite, like this, right? But there's a chance that it goes overhead and it pops up. I want to make sure that this thing's going to turn and not hit any of the C channels. So maybe I could take this off and align it to however that's going to work. But anyways, I'm going to have wire loom, a small loom, and that's going to have this and my Cat 5 together in one loom, which is going to go from the box here to the project box down where the battery and all that is. That's the update right now on how this tracker is coming. Just to show you that it is in progress. It's just, I didn't think, wow, there's a lot of different ways you can do this, okay? These servos are very solid. They're very structurally solid. You know, the tripod is solid. The way I'm doing this hopefully works. You know, this is a project. This is an experiment. I hope people throw comments. Why don't you do this instead of that? That's what it's about. You know, here's the 9 degrees of whatever, and that's going to be somewhere up here, and that detects left, right, up, down, you know, whatever. And those wires on those header pins are going to feed from up here down to this box. This will be in that box as well, and then we'll have one Ethernet coming out of the box to connect all this stuff up top to my box down here, and then another one just for power. That way I'm not trying to stress these things or not have enough power to go from the servos to the box down there. That's where we're at right now. Another thing that I ordered I wanted to show you, which we'll get into after, are these right here. Now these are, I got this on Amazon for like $7, right? These are the little breadboard wires, and the link is in the description. These are cool. For $7, you get 120 wires. 40 of them are female, 40 of them are male, and then 40 of them are female on one side, male on the other. And that is so I could take, you know, this Arduino and run jumpers from one board to another, and it makes it a lot easier. And the cool thing about these are they're color coded. So if I wanted to take, you know, this red, orange, yellow, that's going to be for this, you know, whatever. You can separate as many as you need to make a cluster, or just 2, or however you do it. One thing that the original design said was this Ethernet shield was wired separately, probably for space, but it was, you see how these pins connect like this, right? And then you have the pins back here, ISCP, whatever that's called. Then you have these pins over here. So basically, you're feeding the Ethernet board, but you're getting all your header pins back, like pass through, you know? Instead of me wiring the ones I need and having all these DuPont wires across this board, what I'm probably going to do is leave it like this. This actually works. I plugged it in. It is reading, and it's enough. The pins are enough in there to where it's not, and you can see the Ethernet here. Ethernet and USB, there's a little piece of insulating double stick tape there so it doesn't short, because that's pins on the bottom of the Ethernet jack to the USB case here. So I put a little piece of insulating double stick tape there. This will work, and I might maybe hit it with a little bit of hot glue to keep it like that. That's how I'm going to leave that in the box. And everything's going to be happening in the box, but that way I won't have to have so many wires going from one to the other to interconnect, you know, because again, I could connect this board with this Arduino with those jumper wires, but then you got all these wires. I'm going to try it this way to where it's attached to the board like that. Anyways, that's just a quick update. We'll see how far I get. I want to see really when I get this thing mounted and the connectivity from the box to the box down below. We'll see how it works. 7.3 KJ4YZI.